Hi everyone, thanks for having me today at Melodie Makers. My name is Luna Pan. I am a composer for film, TV and games. I'm from Sydney, Australia. When I got the brief, it was firstly a very female empowered brief, and City of Sydney would like something kind of aquatic and underwater to fit the feminine color theme. So I actually used all female vocals, and along with that I combined a lot of genres, including orchestral music and dance music. So within the dance music there is upbeat house music, and then there's drum and bass. There's also a bit of Afro beat in the middle as well, but everything has this underwater theme going on, which is about the history of the Sydney Harbour and Barangaroo, who used to fish around the harbour back in the day, and everything just came together in about 2 months. I recorded with Budapest Film Scoring for the orchestral part, and then I hired my composer friends as well as amazing vocalists Bronte and Josie for the lead vocals. Overall, I think it was a pretty great success. Everyone enjoyed the 12-minute soundtrack along with the fireworks, and I myself was in front of the Sydney Harbour, right next to the Opera House at the ABC show, and watched the whole thing up close, and it was fantastic. I started practicing piano since I was 4 for about 10 years after that, and I played classical music and studied classical music, so definitely very much influenced by that, and I think that's the reason why I became a film composer, because a lot of the score is actually heavily influenced by classical music, and Tchaikovsky is my favorite, and I grew up listening to him, and I think my musical style, it would be quite influenced by him. Music theory I use every day when I work, whether to write an EDM track or like a tension film score. Music theory is definitely very applicable to all the music that I write, and I say music production is definitely the formal training I really appreciated. And over time, I guess your production skill goes up as you practice. Same with composition and instrumental arrangement. I think that all takes a lot of practice and time. And I also really appreciate learning orchestration as my master degree, because that actually helped me greatly on writing for orchestral works. And I use Sibelius and Pro Tools every now and then when recording is needed, and that comes very handy, because I could save some time. I could save some time and money doing it myself if I want to. For example, I will be able to write the music and put everything onto Sibelius, hand it to the musicians, prep the clicks, prep the Pro Tools, hand it to the recording engineers. So everything is done and dusted. I can just walk into this session and start recording. So I think that's very useful. I think it's hugely important, having your voice. A lot of filmmakers and directors, they just look out for you because of your voice. So I think it's hugely important. Not saying you have to sound unique in in a certain way for every possible brief or genre, but it would definitely help attracting the gigs that you would like to do to begin with. And I think that's very important when you have your own voice and you like writing for that kind of style. And more gigs like that will come. And it's also very future-proof when it comes to competing. Let's say you're pitching against other composers, but your style is so unique that there's no one out there that can do what you do. Then you definitely stand out. Wow, I didn't even realize I had that many placements. Thanks, Melody. My faves. I think I really enjoy writing for those lo-fi hip-hop, jazzy lo-fi hip-hop tracks. Not sure how well they did on the placement, but they're my faves, yeah. Yeah, I've won a few awards over the years. I I think a lot of the time I get gigs from getting nominated or winning an award from seasoned composers from the industry, because they do look out for these awards, not necessarily filmmakers, to be honest. They'll be like, oh, hey, she just won the PDA and maybe we should try her out, something like that. And then through that, I was able to write to many different projects. I guess I got the recognition from the judges and the panel, whether it's through APRA or from Hollywood. Yeah, it's definitely good to have. I actually recorded with RTV and Smecky Studios, both during COVID remotely. So I unfortunately didn't get to experience the whole orchestra in my face and the emotion it brings, unfortunately. But yeah, it's very cool. It's very cool to see and hear what was in my head played by 60, 70 people together. It's definitely something addictive, I'd say, and hopefully I'll be working with them again in the future for like other commissions or for my own stuff. So yeah, and it's funny because for someone that's heard the work played by live players for the first time, I thought it was very dry, obviously, because you're so used to listening to your VSTs and your mock-ups with a lot of reverb. Obviously, recorded in the studio raw. It sounds very intimate. The gear that I use the most is my Mac Studio, and along with that I use Logic Pro, and then I actually have a PC as a server which is hooked to VN Ensemble Pro. So I run all my VSTs on the powerful PC, and then I use the Mac Studio for running the session and the plugins mostly. And another hardware that I use a lot is this keyboard, and I think a lot of composers have this as their favorite. Play the piano, could record acoustically downstairs. I have an acoustic piano, and sometimes I record some guitar myself, but getting less and less now because I would rather rely on a very professional acoustic or electric guitar player to do the thing they're very good at, instead of me fiddling around. Sometimes you can see behind me I use the Moog synth quite a bit, especially for like synth textural stuff, sound design. James Newton Howard and Nicholas Britell and John Powell. They're my recent favorites. I just think their orchestration is brilliant. Their composition, the whole arrangement and how it works with the story is beautiful. It's super well crafted, and I love listening to them, but at the same time, when it comes to composition, I like to have my own thematical idea, and maybe on the stylistic choices or instrumental choices, I might refer to the composers that I like and their music, but then sometimes it doesn't serve the story, so yeah, it really depends. Yeah, there's not many of us female composers for sure, but it's getting a lot better. I think there are a lot more female composers now compared with maybe a decade ago. So it's definitely a positive. And what I give advice would be just go for it. And I think there are many great initiatives and programs and grants that you can get just by being a female. So I think our industry is being super supportive at the moment. So it's definitely a good time to start your career as a female composer compared with maybe 20 years ago. So. I definitely would like to be super supportive of our female composer community, however I can. For example, I was on the panel for International Women's Day this year as one of the 4 female composers doing a discussion and how the industry has changed for female composers, and whether for myself, whether it's mentoring someone or giving someone advice or being part of an event for free, things like that, I'm super down for. And I think the industry could be more supportive on the female composers when it comes to, I guess, mentorship, because I started my career by being selected by Jay Stewart for it's called APRA MCOS mentorship for female composers. So that's how I started my career, writing for the blocks. So I think some more of that would be great, and I think there are programs that's out there, and I guess mentorship is a big thing when you want to enter the industry and step your foot in the door. I think that's the most difficult part for a lot of us composers, or gendered. So. For orchestral music, there's definitely a formality. There's the wind, and then there's the brass, string section, percussion, piano, and vocals. So there's definitely a formality of that. To me, I think if you want to fit anything else electronic in there, you have to take out the frequencies that might clash with the orchestral ensemble. So, and depending on the genre, I feel like a lot of the brass and wind section, especially the wind section, is omitted sometimes. And for example, for the fireworks gig, because it's an EDM track and I incorporate some orchestral element, you end up only having strings and brass towards the second half along with the electronic dance music. But I think it's almost like a puzzle game where you fit in the spatial, you fit in the audio space with different frequencies and whether they fit together and work well. So it's a technical job. It's not necessarily a creative one. Oh, definitely 120 minutes. I love long form stuff. 30 seconds is not enough. I guess that's why I'm a composer, because you write like 90 minutes of music sometimes for a feature film. Thanks for the shout out. And yeah, I've been having a lot of fun working with Melodie as well, like doing the recent briefs. What's coming on the horizon this year has been pretty good. I actually written a couple of albums with Melodie already for different few shows, and I've just finished scoring for a feature film for Lifetime, and I also just finished a short film. I'm writing music for a web series at the moment, and have another short film booked for the next month. Other than that, 2025, I mean, it's already started with the band, so I'm pretty chill, just hope for the best and keep hustling, keep writing music. I would also like to maybe write more for myself. I want to write an album, and can't talk too much about that yet, but that's definitely on the cards for this year. So something that I want to do for myself. It's about finding my own voice. It's about presenting my own voice to the world and do something I really care for. So I think it will be really fun.